Hello, welcome to the Glasstire Top 5 for the week of February 4th. God, what month is it?
It's February 4th.
2016. I'm Rainey Knutson.
And I'm Brandon Zeck.
And we are here on the beautiful Rice campus. Look at this pretty university.
Isn't it pretty?
We'll get back to Rice in just a second. But anyway.
So number 5, it's 610 Gallery, which is a new artist-run space in Houston, started by Iva Kennard. The show is, it's called Dreaming of You, and it's two artists, Zoe Berg and Sable Mireles. Zoe Berg is based in Denton, and Sable is based in Austin right now. The two artists deal a lot with, they draw on their families, so Zoe deals a lot with her grandmother's life and pulls from kind of her grandmother's narrative, whereas Mireles draws on her kind of mixed race, or mixed ethnicity upbringing.
610.
Legendary.
Barely inside the loop, isn't it?
Barely.
Barely. Number 4. All right, we shot at Beef House last week, and this is another show at Beef House, and we're just sorry, okay? We're sorry. But Lips Like Sugar is opening this Friday. There's a performance by Brad Tucker. Margaret Meehan, the artist, curated the show, and its photographers, Robert Melton, who got his MFA at UT, Emily Peacock, Houston artist, and then M. Mendez. We don't know much about this artist, but
they're based in Brooklyn.
They're based in Brooklyn,
from Texas.
Originally from Texas. But Peacock and Melton, really strong artists. Margaret is a great curator, and this should be a really interesting show.
Number 3 is, we actually just ran a review by Betsy Hewitt on this show. It's called Satellite, and it's at Lawndale Art Center in Houston. So the artists in the show are Almendra Castillo, Cynthia Gomez, and Ima Luis. The show is really based around kind of a game of telephone, you know, the thing you would do in primary school where you would try and get a phrase to the end of it. The 3 artists did that in a series of letters. So they essentially tried to recreate the same work 3 different times, but they came out somewhat alike and in some cases completely different because it's 3 different artists trying to create the same work.
The same piece. What I liked about this show when I saw it was I was like, well, I like this person's work of these 3 pieces, but I don't like this work as much. And then I realized that actually the one person's work that I thought was actually all 3 artists. So it's a clever idea and a very well executed show. I enjoyed it. Number 2 is a twofer of shows at the Menil collection. It's MicroCosmos, which is selections from the Carpenter collection of Arctic art there, and then the Precarious, which is the collage show curated by David Breslin. These are 2 very small shows. They are really, really wonderful shows. The Arctic show, the installation has these oddly shaped polygonic pedestals that are made to look sort of like ice floes. It's these really charming little carvings of seals and walruses and other Arctic critters, and then there is a little bit of a melancholy sense of them floating away in there. It's a wonderful little show. And then the Precarious, the collage show, is just a very, very strong show. Not everything in it is probably technically collage, but who cares?
That's what they're questioning, though.
That's what they're questioning. I will say this show is almost uniformly strong. I continue to be mystified as to why people get exercised about Richard Tuttle's work, but that aside, the wonderful Rauschenberg cardboard piece, which I spent a lot of time studying, there's a lot to that cardboard piece.
And it's kind of nice to see the work by Jean Vaux. And those are the only 2 works in there also that aren't owned by the Menil.
And our number 1 pick for the week is Thorsten Brinkmann's installation called The Great Cape Renderhorn at the Rice Art Gallery. We are standing inside this installation right now. What you are seeing is only a tiny portion of the show. Thorsten Brinkmann, German artist, known for he was featured in the New York Times Magazine last year for his photographs, which are portraits of himself that are kind of send-ups of classical royal portraiture or art historical portraiture.
Yeah, but a lot of them using kind of found junk and found objects to mock that royalness.
He's always undercutting things, and in the installation and in the interiors that he has created, he says that there's a lot of humor, and he's sort of playing with the fustiness and the age of objects that human beings deal with on a regular basis. And he calls the installation a decaying palace, which if you see it, if it is a palace, it's like a fusty old grandma's house in East Texas palace. The artist is charming, and this installation is an absolute treat. get ready to get down on your hands and knees and crawl through a tunnel. It is well worth the trip.